So I sat down to film the intro and realized I have this lovely coffee stain that will be joining us today. So I'm gonna change and redo the intro. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my houseplant tour. I know I have never posted a plant related video before, but it's the type of video that I really enjoyed watching recently. I love watching houseplant tours and hauls and gardening videos. It's just something I really enjoy because I love seeing what types of plants people have in their homes, how they care for them, how they style them as decor, and I hope you enjoy seeing mine. I really want to give you some close-ups of some of the plants that I have and just kind of take you around my space to show you how they're situated. Just to give you an idea of what type of space I'm working with, this is a very small home. I'm not entirely sure of the square footage, but it's a shotgun style house, so it's one floor, and it's starts out with the living room, then kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, laundry room, and that's it. So a very small space. I don't have a huge collection, but I'm really happy with it, and I'm slowly getting my husband into houseplants, so hopefully my collection will grow some. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see what type of houseplants I have, please keep watching. Okay guys, this is the view from the pathway in my kitchen, right by my back door that's actually on the east side of my house. So that's where I'm standing right now. If you'll notice, the only plant you can see from this view is right up here, and that is my yellow manda ivy, and she's actually really the only plant I've named. I call her Amanda because that's easier, but I just love the variegated leaves, and they're curly as well, so they have a really wavy structure, and I just find them to be frilly and beautiful, and the cream and white that is in the leaves just reflects the light so nicely, and I just feel like it brightens up our space so much. And before we had the yellow manda ivy, that is where our huge creeping fig hung, and I love the creeping fig, but I just constantly battled with mealybugs, and when we went out of town, it really, I thought it was gonna die, so that's why I took the cuttings from it. But it felt very empty without a plant hanging there, and even Griffin, who's not as into plants as I am, was like, man, we need to get another plant because it just feels so empty there. So I didn't really know what I wanted for that area. I was leaning towards string of fish hooks, but when I saw this, I just thought it would be perfect for that spot. So I will go ahead and give you a close-up of the manda ivy, and then show you some more plants that are in this room. I have some on the parallel windowsill, and then some to the right over on the kitchen counter, which you will see as well. Okay, so this is a close-up of my yellow manda ivy. This plant just really makes me so happy. I'm really glad that I got it. Quiet, PETA, you're okay. I think this would look so beautiful in a white hanging planter or a head planter once it gets even more full. I have seen a really big version of this plant at Home Depot, but it wasn't as healthy as this one that I got at Lowe's, so I chose this one over the more full plant that I saw at Home Depot. So it's really beautiful, and it's been really easy to care for, so I highly recommend it. Okay, so these are the plants that are positioned to the right of the yellow manda ivy, and they're kind of close to all of the plants that I have on the countertop in the divide between my kitchen and dining room. This is also near a west facing window, which is kind of a couple feet behind it, but honestly, we're so close to our neighbors on that side, and there's a lot of big trees on that side also, that this window really doesn't get that much sunlight. So the bulk of the sunlight that this plant gets is from the east facing window about 6 feet in front of it. So right here we have my green prayer plant, or my green Maranta, and I think this is so beautiful. I ordered this from hertzgarden.com, and I was really happy with the overall appearance, although it did come with a couple mealybugs. But unlike my variegated ivy, I was able to get rid of them on this plant. So once I repotted this, it seemed to be doing a lot better. Some of the new leaves were coming out very small, but once I got it on a fairly regular fertilizing schedule, the new leaves are unfurling to a bigger size, which is great. And I just love the variegation in some of the leaves, like this one here with the white. I wasn't expecting it to be variegated. It's really pretty. What's really cool about the prayer plants, and I have two of them, the green one and the red one, is they're called prayer plants because when they go to sleep at night, the leaves actually move and fold up into a prayer-like position. So right now they are full and you can see the tops of the leaves and they're more in a downward position, and at night they will actually fold up and be pointed more upright into a prayer-like position. So that's how it got its name. And the green and the red prayer plant I got at the same time, and they're my first prayer plants I've ever had, and I can honestly say that I now want every single plant within the Marantaceae family. I want them all. I want the Marantas, I want the Ceranthes, I want the Tenanthes, I want the Calatheas, I want them all. Their leaves are just so ornate and beautiful, and I love the nintastic movement when they fold into prayer position at night. I just think it is so wondrous. So that is my green prayer plant, and then sitting to the right of it is my pink polka dot plant, which I will show you now. Okay guys, this is my pink polka dot plant. It looks like it's a hot mess right now. These are typically quite compact, small plants, and when I got it for Easter, it was very small and compact and really pretty pink speckled leaves. I went out of town and this thing just exploded and got really tall before I had time to prune it down. And then by the time I was ready to prune it down, it started blooming. Who knew polka dot plants have flowers? I did not know that, and I just couldn't bear to prune it once it started blooming. So I let it bloom for a while, and then I finally gave it a haircut. So we'll see what it does. I know it looks like it's in a pot that's far too big for it, but it really does have a huge root system because of how tall it got. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if this bounces back, and if not, I think I'm going to replace this pot with some fresh polka dot plants in the spring maybe, because I really thought it was a cute plant. And I think the next time around, even though the flowers were pretty, I think I will try to keep it a very compact size and trim down. Okay, so this is on the countertop in my kitchen, but it's like right on the edge facing the living room. So my living room is behind me, and this is kind of the divide between the living room and the kitchen. So in that small dish there, I have a few petals from succulents that I'm trying to propagate. In that little shot glass there, that's just some flowers that Griffin picked for me. And this old honey jar over here to the left, those are all the cuttings from my creeping fig, my variegated creeping fig. I decided to give up on it, guys, and just took some cuttings of the healthiest leaves, and hopefully I'll have another variegated creeping fig one day. So in this pot over here, we have a Peperomia obtusifolia, I believe. I've also heard it called the Golden Gate plant or the marble plant. It has very succulent, thick leaves and a beautiful variegation. And in the back there, you'll see a little bit of variegation. In that jar is that's just some cuttings from my mother-in-law she has two really huge tenanth, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's a plant that is in the Maranticeae family, and I got some cuttings last time I visited back home and they're sprouting, so that's exciting. But I'll give you some close-ups so you can see in better detail. This is that tenanth that I got from, or tenanthe, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, from my mother-in-law. Got two cuttings and they're rooting up nicely. It's been probably a few weeks. Just to get you up close and personal with the Peperomia obtrusive, you'll see that beautiful variation in the color of the leaves on that one especially. It hasn't gotten very big, but I can tell since I've potted it from the cuttings I got from my neighbor that it is doing really well. It's very healthy and seems to be pretty low maintenance. Okay, now we are in my bedroom. These are the plants that are currently in my bedroom. They're on my makeup table, probably about 8 to 10 feet away from a west-facing window. So it tends to stay darker in this room. And I'll zoom in on the plants and tell you a little bit more about them. Okay, so this right here is my golden pothos. I got all of these as rooted cuttings from a professor that I met through school, which was incredibly generous, and it seems to be doing well. I'm always finding new growth, and even though I wouldn't say this room gets the best lighting, it seems to be really low maintenance, and I really appreciate that. So moving on to the next plant. Okay, next we have my red prayer plant. I ordered this online from hertzgardens.com and it arrived in really great condition. The only problem I'm having is the newer growth seems to be stunted, and then one of them came in and just died. So let me zoom out so you can see those. So the wilted one on the right came in and just died pretty much immediately. And then I thought that my leaves were being bleached because in the previous room it was a little too bright for it, which is why I moved it into this lower light room, and it does seem to be doing much better. But I am contemplating cutting this longer stem and propagating the healthier part of the cutting. I don't know how well that'll go, but that is my plan. And then if I can get that cutting to sprout roots, then I'll just add it to this plant to make it more full. But I'm still very new to prayer plants, so if any of you have any new tips on why my new growth is the way it is, please help me out and give me some tips in the comment below if you've had experience with this plant. I do think once I repotted it and moved it to this room, it has been doing much better, but we'll see. This last plant here is actually one that I've been keeping in my bathroom, but there is like zero natural lighting in there, so I thought it would be easier to film out here. And also there has been a ton of new growth, but I have been noticing some yellowing of the leaves, so for that reason, for the past couple days, I've moved this plant out to this table and made some other adjustments to hopefully keep this plant alive. And I don't know if I said it actually, this is a heart fern. And as soon as I saw this plant, I just fell in love with the heart-shaped leaves. I just think they're beautiful. And this plant is actually really interesting. Like I said, it's a fern, so it does really well in high humidity. And I live in zone 9B, so we definitely have the high humidity for it to thrive. It's just a matter of if it'll thrive in my home. Another really cool thing about this plant is the heart leaves are actually sterile, and then the arrowhead shaped leaves, if you can see that small new one here, that arrowhead shaped leaf is non-sterile. At first I couldn't decide if I loved it or if I was creeped out by it. Wow, that is very grainy, I don't know why, but the stem is actually like
black and very thick and wiry, almost like a body part of an insect. I know that's a very weird comparison, but it is kind of creepy, like an insect. And the leaves are very leathery and thick. I really love how it looks in my bathroom. I have it right on the back of my toilet, and I just feel like it makes, I don't know, it's just a good spot for it. So I highly recommend getting this fern if you can keep it alive. And if you have any tips, please share, because I'm still learning.
If you made it through to the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tour. If you have any suggestions for me, please leave them in the comments down below. If you would like me to make more plant-related videos, please also leave that in a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe. That would be awesome. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!